This video is sponsored by PotownStore.com, the best place to get yourself some TCGO code cards. Looking for that last card to complete your online deck or just to find the latest booster packs in town. They literally have everything, and all these codes will be compatible with the upcoming TCG Live client. So be sure to stock up on some codes right now and use the coupon code ZapDogsTCG for 5% of your next order. Also, this video is sponsored by CardMarket.com. This is a European platform where you're able to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. You can get the latest product, you can get some cool promo cards, like for instance this Luxray on the screen right now. Be sure to check out the affiliate link down below, and you're going to be helping out the channel tremendously. Last but certainly not least, this video is also sponsored by YourPlaymat.com, the best website to create your own unique custom playmat. And of course, you can get 10% off your order by clicking the link down below. And you can, of course, create your own playmat by just starting here, and they ship worldwide. So what are you waiting for? So be sure to check it out. Thanks for sticking around with the commercials. Let's get this show on the road. Peace. Sup YouTube, it's ZapDogsTCG here, and welcome back to another TCG deck profile video on my channel. On this channel you get the latest Pokemon TCG information in town, so be sure you are subscribed so you don't ever miss out. We have been exploring Fusion Strike decks as of late, and we already talked about Mew VMAX, Bolton VMAX, and more. So today we have on the menu Gengar VMAX, one of my personal friends. This is probably his favorite deck coming from Fusion Strike, so he will be very happy. Flo, this is one for you. So we're going to be checking out Gengar VMAX, and you might think, why are we needing to have Gengar VMAX in our deck instead of Single Strike Urshifu VMAX, which is a wall breaker, goes through any effects? Well, first of all, the Decidueye won't be that popular anymore just because of the fact that Mew VMAX just goes through it. Mew VMAX will be a popular archetype and has an attack that can go straight through the Decidueye, and there's even more Pokemon that can do that, so don't worry about that in the slightest. I know you might think, oh, won't we lose our fighting capabilities with Urshifu, hit weakness against Jolteon VMAX or Eternatus VMAX? Well, no, just because of the fact that we still have access to the one and only Stonejourner. So as you can see here, we're going to be running Stonejourner here with, of course, the Land Pulse. Land Pulse is a crazy attack. If you have a Stadium card in play, you're actually able to slap 60 damage for its first attack, which is actually very great because that means you can one-hit KO stuff like Sobbles or maybe even Drizzles if you have 2 Single Strike energies on it. Other than that, you also have the Giga Hammer slapping 120 damage. During your next turn, you can't use it again, but with, of course, a couple of Single Strike energies on here. Imagine you have 4 Single Strike energies on here. You can actually one-hit KO Eternatus VMAX. And also, with only 2 Single Strike energies attached, you can also one-hit KO Jolteon, seeming that he only has 300 HP. So that is super nice, right? So this is our fighting style Pokemon in this list. Okay, now we're actually going to be talking about some new cards here because that's what you want to see, right? New cards, new decks, that's fantastic. If you guys are hyped for Gengar VMAX, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. It helps out in ridiculous ways, and I always took a lot of time to just create and craft these lists and also test them out so you guys know that they're actually capable of actually winning a lot of games. So let's just talk about Gengar VMAX, shall we? Gengar VMAX, here it is. This is going to be the one that is going to be very nasty because it actually punishes the opponent by playing V Pokemon. Pannic Fear slaps 60 damage for every not GX Pokemon because those are already rotated, but an expanded is also counting for GXs, but for every V Pokemon the opponent has in play 60 damage. On itself, that might not seem very, that might not seem like a lot, but imagine if you're up against Shadow Rider. They always get out a bazillion of these V Pokemon. You're going to be able to punish them straight away. You also hit for weakness, by the way, so you hit weakness against Shadow Rider, you hit weakness against Mew VMAX, so having the Darkness type will be good for sure. And Pannic Fear, you can even stack that up with none other than the Echoing Horn, which is also in here. You can suddenly, out of nowhere, get a basic V Pokemon from your opponent's discard pile, slap it on the bench, and it's instantly Pannic Fear slaps more damage. Why do I like Pannic Fear? Let me just stress this out. In a lot of games, by playing Single Strike, you probably lose the game because you only got out 1 Houndour on turn 1, and you're gonna say like, oh, I might just whiff out on Houndoom and not have the energy attachment of the turn. Well, you need basically an energy attachment and a Houndour and follow it up by a Houndoom the following turn in order to just attack. This is not true anymore with Gengar VMAX because even if you just have 1 Houndour in play and 1 Gengar V, you will be able to attack the following turn with Pannic Fear, seeing as it only requires 2 energies. Most decks in the format run on V Pokemon, and I also did mention that Dragapult VMAX, you also slap that for weakness. So Mew VMAX going down, Dragapult VMAX going down, Shadow Rider going down. Being a Darkness type is good right now. Why would you play this over Eternatus, you say? Well, you have, of course, the access of the single strike box, which allows you to dish out more damage. So you might see here G-Max Swallow slapping 250 and you cannot attack during your next turn. Luckily we can make sure we can reset the attack effect with stuff like Switch and the Hiding Dark Energy. So you retreat, you switch, that's how it will go to reset the attack effect, and you're gonna be able to slap 250. If you get 3 single strikes energies on here, you're gonna be slapping an additional 60, that's 310, which is actually a very great number. But if you even get another energy onto there, you're gonna be able to one-hit KO the VMAXs, which is very strong. If you're able to find all your single strike energies, you're gonna be golden. There's also enough vitalities to get them back in the first place. So I really like Gengar VMAX, and the reason why I like it is that you have a different weakness than Umbreon. Umbreon is of course a card that is also in this list. Just to talk about it briefly here. So we have none other than Umbreon VMAX here, and this one has the Dark Signal ability, being able to gust up an opponent's bench Pokemon all the way to the active slot, which is super nice, and allows you to punish V Pokemon before they're able to evolve. But not more importantly, it is weak to grass. So Umbreon VMAX weak to grass, Gengar VMAX weak to fighting. I know a ghost Pokemon being weak to fighting is ridiculous, but yeah, that's what they decided to give the weakness of Gengar. So they have different weaknesses in the TCG, which is nice, and that actually covers a little bit of the meta game, because sometimes you might say, oh, I'm up against Urshifu, there's nothing I can do. Well, that is not true, because you have Umbreon VMAX, which can two-shot the fighting Pokemon. So very, very cool to see that Umbreon is still very, very strong in a lot of Darkness decks. I think almost all Darkness decks run Umbreon these days. Okay, what else is in this list? Glad you asked. We're going to be checking out the Gengar V here as well. So Gengar V. And Gengar V is a very interesting Pokemon with this Dark Slumber. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now asleep. This can actually sometimes win games. You do have a high amount of Marnie, so you can slap Dark Slumber, 40 damage. Your opponent is asleep into a Marnie. That could save games, because that means if they're asleep, they cannot retreat and they cannot attack. And if they don't draw out of it, it's going to be fantastic. You also have the Pain Burst, 194 tree energies. Might not seem like too much, but 190 with some single strike energies does get the job done on, of course, most basic V Pokemon. If you get 2 single strikes, you're actually going to be slapping 230, which actually shuts down stuff like the Zamazentas as well, because Zamazenta is immune from VMAX Pokemon, and you can just go straight through them with the Gengar if you would love to. So I like the Gengar here, reasonable damage output for sure, and it also has a 2 retreat cost, which is very important, because all of our basic Pokemon, except for the Stonejourner, have a 2 retreat cost, which is very, very awesome to see. That means you're going to be able to, of course, use the Air Balloon here. There's only 1 copy in here, because we also run the Hiding Dark Energies. That's also a way you can manually retreat if you somehow are stuck in the active. All of our Pokemon, except for Stonejourner, are, of course, Darkness Pokemon, so you can resort to that Hiding Dark Energy, which we see over here. And the Hiding Dark Energy will allow you to, of course, have free retreat, and having free retreat is also because you want to reset the attack effect of none other than Gengar VMAX. And having free retreat also means the opponent cannot stall you any longer, because that's also something they would love to do. If you're only running stuff like Air Balloon, or if the opponent is playing stuff like Tool Jammer, you might actually get stranded into the active position, which is not fun for sure. Okay. Moving forward, what else is in this list that you want to be seeing is, of course, the Echoing Horn. Echoing Horn is a fantastic Pokemon card, because you're actually going to be able to put an opponent's basic Pokemon from their discard pile onto their bench. That could be, oh, I want this Crobat again, use Echoing Horn and gust it up with Houndoom, with Umbreon VMAX. So that could be a win condition, because you can easily slap 180 and take 2 prize cards. Not only that, it allows you to boost the damage output with the Gengar VMAX's first attack, and it is a very niche card in here. I initially had 2 of these copies in the list, but I actually lowered it down to 1 copy, because I didn't want actually want to have some room for another great card. And that other great card is going to be Karen's Conviction. Karen's Conviction is something you don't see a lot in these single strike decks. It's a little bit forgotten. It is, of course, a card from Chilling Reign, and it actually allows you to slap 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon for every prize card the opponent has taken. Let that sink in. That is a lot. Yeah, sometimes you use research to throw it away, but in certain situations you can try and dig for it with the Tower of Darkness in combination with Crobat to find Karen's Conviction, and out of nowhere 20 more damage is game changing, definitely with the effect of Gengar VMAX. Let's just do the math, right? You are playing the game, they knocked out a Houndoom and they knocked out an Umbreon VMAX. So they've taken 4 freaking prize cards. That means you're slapping 80 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon with your single strike Pokemon. So yeah, let that sink in. Let's just get the Gengar VMAX here again. Gengar VMAX, as you can see, slaps 250, 80 additional damage, is already one-hit KOing almost all VMAX Pokemon in existence regarding the effect of us playing Single Strike energies. On top of Single Strike energies, you can go for crazy one-hit KOs on anything in the game. So Karen's Conviction can get you over the edge, definitely in the late game. Even in the early game, if they just knocked out something like, let's say, a Houndoom, you're already slapping an additional 20 damage, which means you can also get one-hit KOs with the G-Max Swallow. So Gengar VMAX, don't sleep on this card. People are saying like, oh, why am I playing Gengar VMAX? I already have Single Strike. Well, Gengar VMAX requires less energies and is going to be an impactful card for sure. Is it going to be better than Single Strike? That's what the future needs to tell us. But for now, I think it's a very strong list. And also love the way that this deck has built-in consistency with, of course, the form of the Tower of Darkness. Initially, I also want to have 4 copies of this just because you can draw a lot of cards with it. Once during your turn, you may discard a Single Strike card from your hand. That could be the Karen's Conviction, that could be a Stonejourner, that could be a Gengar V, that could be a Single Strike Energy, and Urn of Vitality. So many cards, and the opening turns like allow you to draw 2 extra cards. And drawing 2 extra cards in the TCG is busted, as we've seen and learned with Zoroark GX through the days. So we're going to be drawing a lot of cards. We also have some capture energies available to us, and these capture energies will allow us to find a basic energy. Why only 2? That's because Gengar's attack cost does not require a cardless energy, so I lowered it down to a 2 count. Instead, we upped up the Great Ball count here, and the Great Ball count is now 2 copies, and that means you're actually going to be finding your Houndours a little bit easier in the early phases of the game. On top of 2 capture energies and 4 quick ball, you're going to be finding your Houndours, and that's the only important thing is you need to get your Houndours into play, and of course for this deck to function. Other than that, 4 Evolution Ensigns, and that means you can find your Houndooms, your Gengar VMAX, or Umbreon VMAX. That's also a reason why we're playing a 3-2 line of the Gengar VMAX, as well as a 3-2 line of the Umbreon VMAX, just because of a high amount of Evolution Ensigns. There are still 2 copies of Boss's Orders in here, just because we only run 2 Umbreon VMAXs. Sometimes there might be one priced, and I still want to have that additional gusting. Definitely with the fact of us running the Tower of Darkness to draw through our deck, you're going to be finding Boss's Orders and just going to be able to finish off games rather quickly. And last but not least is the Urn of Vitality. Allows you to, of course, get 2 Single Strike energies back from the discard pile. Sometimes Single Strike energies might be priced. That's a bummer, but yeah, other than that, the deck just runs 4 research, 4 money as the supporter of turn. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this Gengar VMAX deck profile. If you did, be sure to let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Will you try this list out for yourself? I really want to know if you are a fan of Gengar VMAX or you're still on the Single Strike Urshifu camp. As mentioned, there's a lot of great things about Single Strike Urshifu VMAX as well. You're going to be having wall breaking, you have the fighting type, but as mentioned, we are running Stonejourner for the fighting type capabilities, and we have, of course, stuff like the Echoing Horn to go around Zamazenta, but Gengar V can also one-hit KO Zamazenta, so it's not a big problem playing a deck like this, mark my words, and it's gonna be fantastic to try it out when, of course, events come back. I'm very curious to see if Gengar VMAX will be able to punish the high amount of Mew VMAX players out there, because Mew VMAX will be a very solid archetype with Fusion Strike. Also, be sure to check out our sponsors, PotownStore.com, the best place to get TCGO code cards. You can use that coupon code ZABOOSTCG for 5% of your order. You can get yourself Crobat codes, Dragapult codes, Zacian codes, Zamazenta codes, Bolton codes, whatever you might need. The promo codes are available over at PotownStore.com, and you can use the coupon code ZABOOSTCG for 5% off. On a good note, you can also use these codes on TCG Live, which probably, hopefully, will come next week. More information, of course, on my channel as soon as news drops. Be sure to check out cardmarket.com as well, the best website for European players to buy and sell cards to people all across Europe. There's a €5 coupon code for 1 lucky person up on screen right now. That's for newly registrations. So new registrations, you can use that coupon code, and you're gonna be getting €5. Let me know what you're gonna buy. Are you gonna buy Drizzle? Are you gonna be buying a V Pokemon? Maybe you're buying a Crobat, because Crobat is good. Drawing cards is good. It's only for 1 lucky person, so every single video I'm giving away €5 coupon codes from Card Market, and yeah, it's the best website. I personally use it every day. Just now I actually sold this Blastoise. Blastoise is gonna be one of those celebration cards. I'm personally not too crazy of a collector, so I want to just sell these. It was very fun opening up celebration products, don't get me wrong, but I'm more into the competitive scene as always. Also, go check out yourplaymat.com if you're interested in creating your own unique custom playmat. You can create one today by clicking the link down below, and you get 10% of your complete order. They ship worldwide, so I want to see you in the next regionals with, of course, your own unique custom playmat. Anyhow, have yourself a fantastic rest of your day. I'll see you guys tomorrow with more Pokemon TCG epicness. Peace!